Hello and welcome to IIPA. I'm Rakhi Bakshi. As you've seen earlier, also, this is another episode that we're bringing in for you, which is Stalwart Speak. But today, the stalwart is a young achiever. And these achievers who've really made us all very proud. They are shining, they are bright. They are some of the achievers who've done very well in 2022 civil services examination conducted by UPSC. And what a delight it has been to see so many women also doing very well. And one of them, who was ranked number 3 in these examinations, is here with us. And I really feel very proud and privileged to be talking to Uma Harathi. Welcome to the show, Uma.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah. So, first of all, of course, it feels very nice to be there, but I'm sure there is so much of hard work, the journey that you've undertaken to reach here. So, tell us about that journey. How did you reach here? Today, the world is looking at you. You're one of those bright stars who's done well. A lot of youngsters are aspiring to be in your shoes. Tell us something about your journey.
Uh, okay, I graduated from IIT Hyderabad with a BTech in civil engineering. And in the final year of my graduation itself, I decided that I wanted to pursue civil services. So after graduating, I started preparing for the exam. In this is my fifth attempt at this exam. So I made a lot of mistakes and I was learning through those mistakes. And I think accepting failures and learning from those failures is what would summarize my journey.
But the background in the family, I'm told that father is also serving bureaucrat. So,
My father is in the state police department. He's currently serving as a superintendent of police in Narayanpet district. And it was him who initially motivated me towards the services and then supported me throughout unconditionally through my highs and lows towards reaching this goal.
coming from Telangana that you do, one would say that, IT and all these other jobs come into the picture. Why civil services?
Again, like I mentioned, it was my father who motivated me. Since he was in the police department, I remember from a very young age, he used to come home and then talk about what the collector has done, what the SP of that district has done. And he would go on and on about this. Every dinner conversation is generally around this. Although he never directly forced me to pursue this career, so implanted the idea of civil services as a platform to do something good for the society and also as a good career option. So I think that remained at the back of my head. Although I was not sure until the end of my graduation, but this idea in my head, eventually I went ahead with it.
And this is your fifth attempt. So,
Yes.
what did it take to really pursue and be that persistent, Uma? And it really takes a lot. I'm sure a lot of patience and a lot of churning that you must have felt yourself. Share with us that experience.
Right. I would say that these last 5 years have shaped me into who I am. I have no regrets whatsoever because I got to learn so much. I genuinely believe that failures teach you a lot if you're willing to learn. So, in the initial years, I did not really understand the demand of this exam as to what it takes to clear the exam, how I should go about it. So, and hence I failed in the first two attempts. And then slowly I began to look at the mistakes I was making and I started working on improving those mistakes.
Did you do some kind of a SWOT analysis? What is my weakness? What is my strength? Kind of thing?
Yes, definitely. This is what I kept doing as to where I was going wrong. And initially, I used to study too much and isolate myself and like lack a sense of balance in my preparation and life. But eventually, I opened up. I started having a good peer group. I was open to criticism, so I got a feedback on my answers or how I was writing. And I also achieved a sense of balance in life. So I used to pursue my hobbies, which are badminton, doing yoga, and cooking, in fact.
Okay.
So all of these I feel have helped me focus better and consistently improve. So
Okay, so cooking is something interesting that we are looking
yeah.
at here. But smart study or slogging hours, what would you recommend? I mean, because a lot of people think, oh, this is my method, oh, this is my strategy. But what is that smart idea that you would recommend, Uma?
Okay. Uh, so I wouldn't say smart study and hard work are two different things. Hard work is definitely a component of smart study, But I would say constantly look for where you're going wrong and keep reevaluating yourself whether you're going in the right direction or not. So we can do this by practicing n number of tests so that we get some feedback and then we keep on improving ourselves. And also not getting trapped in FOMO, fear of missing out. So there's a lot of guidance available everywhere.
Yeah.
But I would say that is all good. Listen to everything, but more importantly, listen to yourself. What do you think is the right strategy? What do you think is the right way to go about this exam? We all have basic common sense that is required to understand the demand. But the thing is, we generally don't listen to our own self and we always rely on others. So I would say own up everything, own up the strategy, own up your failures, own up your setbacks, and be willing to learn and be open to criticism. I
I
think
can
all
see
of
that
them.
there is a lot of self study and self talk that
Yes.
you've done because anthropology is something that you chose as your
Yes.
subject and you studied from IIT Hyderabad. So, a technical background and to human mind and human study, how did you balance the two?
Uh, I actually found the subject very interesting, anthropology, and being from a technology background, I actually saw this as an opportunity to learn something from the humanities, and it was an interesting topic. And so, since my optional earlier was geography, and I made plenty of mistakes there. So this time around, I knew that I was not going to make the same mistakes. So I
Mm.
studied everything by myself from the textbooks, and I made my notes and I practiced, and that's how I went
A lot
ahead.
of people think that when they think about civil services and UPSC examination, they think, oh, it's so big, it's so tough to crack. How would you really look at it, and what would you tell others how to look at it?
Okay. Uh, that is true. It is big. The syllabus is vast. There's no question about it. But I would say you go about it by planning well. So I am an aggressive planner. I
Mm.
plan everything. I have yearly plans, monthly plans, weekly targets, daily targets.
Mm.
So when I do that, when I have the plan in front of me, all that matters to me is what I have to do today and what I need to do for this week or this month. That's it. So the syllabus can be as huge as it can be. I do not care. What I care is, am I or am I not meeting my daily targets, weekly targets?
Okay, that's where the point is, and I would like to tell the viewers here planning and focus, and that's what Uma has done, and that's what has really worked well also. So I think that is one
Yes.
secret that you're sharing with us here. But how did you also, a lot of people say we make a lot of sacrifices. So sacrifices meaning not meeting so many friends, watching so much social media content, or sacrificing on movies if they like watching movies. How much sacrifice did you do or not? Tell us that.
Yeah, definitely. I did make those sacrifices, but I'm not a very social person.
Hmm.
So I think I got away with that.
Okay.
But I used to plan my breaks
Hmm.
and vacations as well. So if I want to watch a movie, I used to plan for it beforehand so
Hmm.
that I finish so and so whatever I wanted to study. And as a reward, I used to watch that.
Okay, coming
That's-
down to some of these things that you will now be undertaking, and we are talking now about public administration, governance, all these issues that you will be surrounded with. You will be more responsible than ever before now that you have committed to serve the nation also. How would you really look at your future days and years in terms of training? You've already, you'll be training yourself much more, and what we are talking about in today's governance system is from rule based to role based. So, how would you really look at that? And how would you adapt to the new system and new idea of governance, which is more citizen centric than ever before?
I am actually going in with a very open mind. I want to explore what it is going ahead, and I want to give my best wherever it is. So I want to focus on being more approachable
Hmm.
and being more innovative wherever I can. I think these two things, being approachable and being innovative, will take administration very close to people. Because in my experience, I've seen that like people do not want to listen to complaints like there's not enough budget or there's not enough funds. They want the administrators to innovate with whatever they already have.
Hmm.
So I think that innovation is expected today, and they also do not want bureaucrats to be far away from the people. So approachability.
Hmm.
So I would say these two, I think, are can make a difference, and I would like to learn through institutions such as this IIPA. these aspects which can make me a better civil servant.
Yeah, thank you for that, because we are trying to do a lot here as well. But some of the other things also, digital technology, for example. Tomorrow we will be looking at digital led governance, actually, so that governance is more transparent. There are benchmarks like ethics and other good practices will come into force. What are your views here, Uma? How can we improve ourselves, work better?
Uh, I feel adopting more and more technology, but also being cautious of the problems that technology can throw up on us, such as how accessible is technology in all parts of the country, or the moral dilemmas that technology can throw up. So, and the fact that technology is itself evolving so fast, and the administrators or bureaucrats have to be adapting fast enough with the technology. So, I wish to utilize platforms such as Karam Yogi, where I can improve myself and keep always like keep improving and be in line with the trends that are
Yeah, in
happening.
fact, I got, which is online. You really can, be hands on
Yes.
and really work, online also, and learn a lot, because learning process, I'm sure you'll
Yes.
agree, that is important. How would you really look at, all these avenues now which is coming up, which is only adding to capacity building of a civil servant?
I think it's a great move in the right direction. So, civil servant or not, I think one should always be learning and improving and never stop. So, if there is a dedicated platform where civil servants can learn new things and update themselves as the time progresses, and I think it's a beautiful thing, and it makes the career itself very interesting.
I had this chance, I would say privilege, to hear and listen to our prime minister, who said that the bureaucrats today, the civil servants today, are lucky because they are in a time zone where, in 2047, when 100 years of India's independence happens, they will be really playing a very big role. How would you really look at this whole vision of India in 2047?
I think having a vision is itself a very good thing, because the whole country can rally behind that vision. And I feel by 2047, every citizen in the country should be able to pursue what their passion is. They should be finding that support from the society as well as from the government. And I think administration plays a key role in this. And I'm glad and happy to be a part of that ecosystem which provides citizens the support, the opportunities that they need in future.
So many women have also done well. I want to really digress a little and talk about that. Yes, inclusion is everywhere and it should be. How does it feel to be among many women who are really bright and shining this time?
I am grateful for the changes that are taking place in the society. Potential and capability have no gender. It's just that today families and societies are making a conscious choice to support their children, support their daughters and siblings, so that they can also pursue their careers. So I'm really happy to see that change happening, and women getting more and more opportunities to
Hmm.
realize their own potential and realize their selves. So it's a great thing, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
You've already given so many interviews, I know, and you've been surrounded. You all are stars, actually. But for the benefit of so many young viewers who will be watching you in this interview, give them some tips, give them some mantras as to how they can discipline themselves and how can they prepare for UPSC.
Right. So the first mantra is to understand the exam well. If we do not understand what this exam is about and what it is expecting from us at each stage, we will be stuck in the cycle for too long. So you understand the exam by going through the previous year's questions and syllabus. This is the first most important thing. And the second thing is plan your preparation well. Planning helps you focus better. It helps you not get overwhelmed by the vastness of a UPSC syllabus. And the third thing is please be conscious of your physical and mental health. Uh, for some, they may clear in the first attempt, good for them, but for others, it may take slightly longer. So I would say don't be demotivated by setbacks or failures. It's okay to fail as long as you're learning from those failures. So I failed 4 times,
Hmm.
and I learned from my failures, and I have no regrets now because those failures made me who I am today as a person. They have taught me humility,
Hmm.
and they've taught me how to be happy in life irrespective of big achievements.
I think it's not about civil services. You're giving us a big sermon on life itself, and we are thankful for that. But how to also not how much of balance is required when you talk about social media content? How much to watch? Because certain times you have to watch YouTube videos also. So how do you balance that?
Right. I think it's very important to have a sense of balance with social media because this phase of being a UPSC aspirant can be very vulnerable. So because we are under stress to finish the syllabus, or we are facing setbacks here and there, which all of which make us underconfident and vulnerable, and social media tends to play on these vulnerabilities. So I would say try to keep the interaction with social media to a minimal level, but be more active about it, in the sense utilize it for wherever you need it. Like for example, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos when I did not understand any
Mm.
concept, or when I wanted to look at some strategies adopted by toppers. So I interacted with social media only when I wanted. So I never have YouTube app on my phone.
So you control the media;
Yes,
they should
I
not control
right.
you. Yeah, that is the
So
whole
that's the idea.
whole aspect. The other thing is, if you divide preliminary examination, mains, and interview, how would you really look at the three different aspects of preparation? How do you prepare for prelims? How do you prepare for mains? And how do you really prepare yourself very big for the interview? Would you
Okay.
like to share that?
Yes. So the first is the prelim stage. Here I would say stick to your basic books to begin with and finish all the basic books. And secondly, and most important here, is to practice more tests. So generally, at least 50 to 70 mock tests before the actual preliminary examination should be fine. This kind of practice teaches you how to solve such a paper with 100 MCQs with negative marks. So you will by yourself learn a lot of elimination techniques and other techniques that are required to score the required
Hmm.
marks.
Hmm.
And coming to the second stage, mains, here syllabus is the holy book. So stick to the syllabus, please. Make notes as per the syllabus topics and utilize previous year's questions to understand the depth and width to which UPSC is asking questions.
Hmm.
So use that as guide, prepare your proper notes, and second, again, practice, because it's a competitive exam and you need to practice to the point that your pen flows in an autopilot mode on the on the actual day. And thirdly, the interview, and it's actually a personality test. So we have to see it as a personality test, not as a question and
Hmm.
answer format. So please go through the syllabus of the personality test and look at the values they have highlighted, internalize them, and try to show them in your answers. Don't simply treat it as a avenue where you can show off your knowledge or come up with complex solutions to the problems. Just
Hmm.
be balanced, confident, cheerful, and importantly, honest. I think this will get you through the
Do you feel
PT
there are
stage.
googlies sometimes, something that is so surprising, unprecedented comes to you? Or how do you deal with that? That you're so simple, so confident, so clear actually how to face anything which comes.
Sorry, I could not
So
understand the
anything
question.
that comes to you, there could be a question that you've not thought about, or which is just so distant,
Right.
but then you've prepared yourself. So how do you make it easy for yourself?
So two things. One, you would ask them for more time so that you can process the question and come up with
The
an
trick
answer.
here is that.
And secondly, honestly admit that you need to go back and think about this
Hmm.
to give a proper answer. And giving answer in such a short period may not be appropriate given the nature of the
So
question.
basically, you're saying prepare well, but also be honest.
Yes, very
Always,
honest. Right.
always, always. And that really serves well. And I think that kind of test also, and I'm sure, Uma, you would agree, comes from your own experience, your own understanding of things around you,
Right.
and your own knowledge that you really get from different sources. So, what could be these sources? Books, journals, magazines. Can you name some?
So the standard books that we have, we anyway read them. And I also read other books, actually books outside UPSC.
Like tell them, because they must be looking
Oh,
for some tips.
okay, so when I was struggling to manage my interaction with social media, I happened to read a book called Digital Minimalism,
Hmm.
written by New Calport.
Okay.
So it was really helpful in making me understand how the algorithms work there,
Okay.
and how the economy of social media works. Once you understand that, okay,
Hmm.
you will understand how they are working, so
Okay.
you'll be cautious.
So go to the
And
root of it all.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
understand
when I
better.
was struggling with my emotional hygiene in the setbacks, I started picking up some self-help books. So
Hmm.
there is a really good book called Flow,
Hmm.
written by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, a psychologist. That also helped me understand how mind works and how we can be happy irrespective of things happening. So I
Yeah.
would say just expand your horizon. Don't be restricted to the books or just the books that you're studying. Build your personality through the years. So
Yeah,
that's
I think grab as much knowledge from different sources, but the
yes,
right kind of knowledge,
right,
isn't it? That's
right.
important. And talk about family, the family support. Everybody says, oh, my family supported me, and the family has been around. Of course, they play a major role
Right,
because you're
right. right.
studying, but they are around you and dealing with a lot of things that you are doing. So, talk about that experience.
Yes, definitely. I would say it's 99% their work, their effort, their belief, and it's just 1% of my duty. All I was doing was sitting in my room and studying, which is the easiest part. But they had to really pull me up whenever I was down. And they never asked me questions such as, how long will you study? Or why don't you also do a job on the side? Or, when will you get married? These
Hmm.
questions were banned in my house. And my parents shielded these questions from even coming to me from the
Oh,
society.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
And he
And this
always
is a tip for parents here.
yes, yes. In fact, whenever somebody comes up to me and says, what do you want to say to the aspirants? I just want to tell their parents, because aspirants will figure it out eventually if you
Hmm.
give them the
Hmm.
time. But parents have to understand that they need to give the time and the support so that they can really discover themselves and be their best. So it's all my parents and my brother
Hmm.
who constantly believed in me and supported me.
Any wish that now you have? Now, I mean, this wish is fulfilled already, but something that you aspire for, something that you dream of, and something that you really look up in terms of your own vision.
Uh, so far, I think I do not want to ever stop learning. I just want to keep constantly updating myself, learning new things. So I'm looking forward to the training
Hmm.
and learning new things and becoming a better person and also a better and a good civil servant.
Okay. And any last message you want to give to the youth today? We are a young country with a lot
Yes,
of
yes.
young population. How should they really look at their lives, make it better, make it more meaningful and productive?
Right. I would say explore different things and find your passion, what you really like to do. When you find your passion, uh, you you can put a number of hours in it, a lot of effort in it, and it won't feel like effort. So when I was studying for long hours, everybody used to be like, how can you study for so many hours, for so many years? But I never saw it as a burden. I enjoyed studying and knowing new things and making plans, making strategies. It was my thing. So that's because I was passionate about it. So please find your passion and put and work for it sincerely, and do not ever be afraid of failures. Failures come and go and they teach a lot. So I would say embrace the failures, learn from them, and find a sense of balance and learn to be happy on a
So I
daily
have taken
basis.
4 or 5 keywords from here. One is learning, constant learning that Uma you're talking about. You're also talking about how to deal the best with your own failures, and also come home with yourself. So talk to
Yes,
yourself, be know who you are,
yes,
and of course you talked about the passion of studying, or in fact better fall in make it a passion, fall in love with what is going to make your career, and that's
right.
what you've done so brilliantly. And I'm sure that people like you inspire a whole lot of people out there, and this interview only serves in terms of motivating them and telling them more about how to do better every day, not
Yes,
only for an exam, I'm sure, but
yes,
also for life
yes,
itself.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for sharing all this with us. We wish you a very good time further, and we wish you all the best in all your endeavors further
Thank
in
you, ma'am.
future. So thank you so much, Uma. And that was Uma Harithi talking to us here at IIPA. And I'm sure that this interview has also helped you in understanding so much about not only one career, that is civil services, but also how to deal with things that come before you when you're planning your career. Thank you so much for watching this show, and namaskar.